Hey guys, so I put a picture up, my last picture, asking whether you wanted me to recreate a look that I wore on a mum's night out. It was a school mum's night out that I went out on Friday night, and lots of people said yes, so I'm going to recreate it, but I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it from start to finish. So I wash my hair probably once to twice a week, very, very rarely. I wash it and I make sure that I give myself literally 3 hours when I'm going to do it, because I wash my hair, dry it, I let it kind of dry naturally, or I cold dry it and then I style it, and that lasts me for the next 3 to 4 days. So I washed it on Friday and now it is Monday, so this has given me quite a few days. I actually prefer it when it's a bit messy and a bit more kind of tasseled. I don't like it when it's first done, but it gets a little bit kind of not gross, but you know, it looks a bit worn and a bit separated. So how I style it is I dry it, cold dry with a hairdryer, and then I take my GHD. This is my favourite one if I have time. If not, I'll use a big barrel curler, and it kind of doesn't, it goes a lot straighter. But I use this one, which is called the Curve, and it's kind of that kind of oval shape, and it gives a really nice kind of, not that you can see right now, but when it's first done, it gives this really nice kind of spirally, but not ringlets. It's kind of slightly more beachy wave. So I use that. Also, when the night before I was due to wash my hair, I put my tan on so that I can have a shower in the morning, wash my hair, and wash the tan off, because I hate the smell of tan. The best tan that I have found is this one, which is Tan Luxe. I buy all this stuff, so actually no, this was actually sent to me, so I do tell a lie. This was sent to me, but I have bought this. I buy this. This is Tan Luxe. It is Illuminating Gradual Tanner. It doesn't say for face. I think they do ones that are especially for face, but I like this one for face. I've got it on now and I've just had a shower, and it's kind of very, very lightweight, but it gives me a tint of colour, which I absolutely love, because I don't want to look really tanned. I don't like to look really orange from tan, if you know what I mean. And I'm one of those people that does go quite orange from tan. In the summer, this is amazing on your legs, and it doesn't have a really offensive smell. To apply it, I use this Real Techniques brush. It is the 313, is it? 315. No, completely wrong. 213. It's a 213 and it's foundation blender. And I just buff it on. I take it down my neck. And someone actually messaged me to say, how often do you wash it? I don't wash this often enough. I haven't washed this one for ages, and it kind of goes a bit like that. When it's for tan, I'm a bit lazy. I should wash it more, but this hasn't been washed for a good couple of weeks, but I very rarely wear tan. When I do wear my tan, it lasts about 3 to 4 days, and I cleanse every single night, so it does get lighter as the days go on. Right, let me put some makeup on my face. Now, some of this is high-end, some of it is high street, but I'm just going to tie my hair out first, and then I'll do my hair at the end in the style that I went for. A lot of people have asked me what colour my hair is. I don't have a clue, but if you follow Marley Zander, he colours my hair. I think he also colours Victoria Beckham's. He works at Josh Woods. He's absolutely amazing. Kat cuts my hair, and Marley colours it, and I trust him implicitly. He's amazing. If you want to know the colours, send him a message. He will definitely answer you. He's absolutely lovely human, and he will let you know, because I don't know. I just go in and chat to him, and he does all of his magic. So I've had a shower just now. I'm now then put my moisturiser on. I'm at the moment using this Darfan one during the day, because I like it's lightweight and makeup sits nice on it. I've already got it on. So, to go out, I took a little bit of, where she be at? I took a little bit of my Josie Moran Vibrancy foundation. I really like this foundation, even though it doesn't seem to want to squirt out of the wand anymore. This I paid for myself. I will tell you if anything was gifted, but actually I think a lot of this I bought myself. It is very similar to this L'Oreal True Match foundation, which is affordable, that I used recently. I really like that. It's actually gone into my makeup bag because I like it that much. So it's probably one of my most favourite affordable foundations at the moment. I'm going to take a Real Techniques contour brush and just buff this over the skin. I've not put a primer on. My skin doesn't necessarily need a primer. And it was a night time, so I didn't have an SPF on. So I just buffed that all the way over the skin. Quite a few people have asked me where my top is from as well. This is actually a dress, and it is from And Other Stories. I will show you at the end what it looks like. It's quite a, I would say, just over the knee length dress, but it has a really nice split up the side, so it shows a little bit of thigh. And I wore it with these beautiful mango boots that I bought at the airport. They're dead nice, aren't they? I bought these at an airport, and I don't know if you can still get them, and I got them quite recently. Got them in October. Next up, I'm going in with my MAC Conceal and Correct palette. This one is in NC30, NW25, NC35, NW35, mid yellow and mid peach. So it's kind of the second in the colour depth. When I've got a tan, I wear this one. When I haven't, I'm more on the lighter scale of them. I'm going to take that on a Real Techniques Expert Concealer brush and just push that under my eyes to start off with. Just to give me a little something under there. And I actually mix these two together for that. I need to make sure I'm holding things like that, because someone said to me when it's on IGTV you can't see it. On YouTube I can hold it there and you can see it. On IGTV I have to hold it further in. So I am taking note. I have a dark bit just in here, so I like to put my concealer in that corner bit there where my natural orbital bone is quite set back. If you look, you can see a little line where my orbital bone is quite deep, whereas I don't have it as much here because I had under eye fillers there to stop it setting quite so far back, because it was really deep, the same as it is on top, but I just had it corrected slightly. Okay, on the eyes, I used this Bourjois Satin Edition 24-hour eyeshadow, which is a cream eyeshadow in 04 Abracadabra Brown. And I really like it. Oh, I put a bit much there. So I took that all over the lid. And I lifted it up. It's really blendable, so it just gives a little something on the eyes, which I really like. And then I took a Real Techniques base shadow brush and just buff that over the eye. So it's so subtle, but it gives this lovely tone. I just think this is such a nice consistency, and actually product in general. Really like this eyeshadow. Next up, a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury. This is the classic eye powder pencil. Doesn't have an actual colour, so I'm hoping the colour is the classic, and it's kind of a brown but with a slight goldy undertone to it, and I just ran that along the lash line. It's slightly thicker on the outer corner. This does not need to be done tidily. If you're no good at liner, do not stress. This is totally fine because we're going to smudge it. So it went right to the corner there, and then I just dragged it from the underneath up as well. If you find it easier, start from the underneath and pull it upwards. Then in with another Charlotte Tilbury liner. This one is in Barbarella Brown, and it's an Rock and Coal Iconic Liquid Eye Pencil. I really like this one for in the top waterline because it doesn't move. It doesn't have too much of a transfer down, which is why I like it. You can go for Urban Decay 24/7s or anything that's slightly more durable for in that top waterline. And I'm putting that on first so it sets, and then I'll put a lighter colour just in the lower lash line, but I want that to transfer down if it's necessary to transfer down. If it's going to transfer down, I'm going to let it happen. Then look, you can see it has a tiny bit there. Once it's sealed into place, I'll run a Q-tip under the on the bottom lash line and then go in with my lighter colour, and it shouldn't transfer down again. And then I'm going to take a Real Techniques shading brush and just soften this. So that's when the blending comes in. Still keeping it along that same direction, but softening it so it's slightly more seamless. So you can see it almost just disappears, so there's not much there. And once the brush has blended this and the brush has a little bit of product on, I just took the brush just through there. So it just adds a bit of that product just through the socket So you don't need to dip into any other products. I'm just taking what's on the brush just to shape it a tiny bit through the socket bone. And then it's looking really, really nice, really soft, exactly how I like it. I'm going to go back in with my Charlotte Tilbury brown and just wing a tiny bit just here. Just like a little tiny V in the corner. Back in with the same brush. And buff that very lightly. So just giving slight more interest to the outer corner of the eye. Following the natural under eye so it does flick that tiny bit up. Then back in with another one of these Bourjois Satin Edition 24-hour eyeshadow. This one is in 01 Beige Scilla. And I'm going to just pop that a tiny bit pushed into the centre of the eye. This is a slightly lighter colour. Just adding a touch of interest there. So it's not really massively noticeable, it's just a little bit of something in it. Right, then in with a damp Q-tip, I'm going to just run over my eyebrows with that because my foundation will have sat in it a tiny bit and I want to clean it over. And then I want to just sweep over, you can see the brown that's come off, sweep over the inner waterline so I can put my lighter colour in there. A little bit of Scandalise by Rimmel. This is 005 Nude. Next up, eyebrows, a little bit of Surratt and brow pomade. This is my go-to brow product. I tend to get the end of it and then brush it through because I find a lot of the product, I like the brush, but it doesn't always pick up enough product for me. I also don't like my brows too brushed up. I know it's a real fashion, but I actually think I like them brushed up and then I kind of pull them across, a bit like a Donald Trump comb over. So I brush them up and then tuck them across. I brush them up so they get rid of all the kind of where they might cross over and be a bit knotted. Not that brows can be knotted, but you know what I mean. I'm just going to leave that to set for a little while I go back to my MAC palette for the skin and just go back in under the eyes where I've kind of had a little pull around of the eyes and played with them. I need to retouch up that concealer. I like a tiny bit just here because I get a little bit of redness here as I've got older. It's just a tiny bit of concealer here. I can't go too low down because I have fine lines there. So just there will do the job nicely. I'm going to just pop that wherever I might need a tiny bit more coverage. Then in with my bronzer. Now, if you don't have the Chanel one, which I use, this one is so brilliant by Soap and Glory. This is the Mighty Contour. It ain't a contour. That is not a contour colour. That is a bronzer colour. It is beautiful for bronzer on my skin tone, maybe a couple of shades darker and lighter. But I still use my Chanel one purely because it's not quite as shiny as that one. However, I do really like that one, so I am raving about it. But when I went out, I used my Pan Deep Chanel one. A lot of people ask me what brush I use to apply this. This is a mini multitask brush by Real Techniques. Absolutely love this brush because you can really hold it and buff it in. So I love it. This is not a contour. Contour does not suit me. This is giving my skin a lovely glow. But because it's on the cheeks, it kind of brings the cheeks out anyway. So my brows are nicely set from the Surratt pomade. I'm then going to go in with a little bit of my Stud Shape and Shade from MAC. And I'm just going to draw in little brow hairs. Very natural little brow hairs. Getting there, mascara, YSL Volume Effect Mascara. massively building lashes. Now this is one thing, I've tried drugstore mascaras. I got the Maybelline one when I recently did my look, but they're just not as good. I'm sorry, I can't find one that I love. But I do like really bulking my lashes out. So I spend a bit more on my mascara. In fact, I'm going to pop into, get another Laura Mercier Caviar one, which some people don't like because the brush is quite big and it twizzles. It's got like a different pattern on it, but I really like it. It's a bit like perfume, it's very personal mascara. Bigger the better for me. I'm going to do my bottom lashes in a minute. I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow over my Chanel, so it powders that into place without taking that bronzing out of it. If I was to use a pressed powder that is in my skin colour and not a bronzer colour, then I would lose that lovely bronze that I put in. I just love how they build on top of each other, those two products. Then I'm just going to powder, again another Charlotte Tilbury product. I like this powder, and I just powder that in the places that need a tiny bit more, so where I didn't do the bronzer, around the nose, a little bit under my eyes. And this is a Real Techniques soft accent brush. Bottom lash mascara, MAC Extended Play. Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. Top of those cheekbones. This has lasted me ages and I've only used that much. So I use such a small amount of it. I think it's well worth the money. Then, touch of my Hush Cream Colour base. I pretty much do the same base over and over, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I try different stuff, but I end up going back to these. Tiny touch of Stila Liam Cream Blush. I like to mix powders and creams together so your skin gets this beautiful kind of texture to it. And I just use my finger to apply that, so I'm not applying very much. And just pulling upwards on the apples of the cheek so it gives a nice kind of slightly pinky tone there. Lastly, onto the lip, I went in with a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. A touch of Kevyn Aucoin, the Flesh Tone Lip Liner in medium. And then MAC Please Me inside. And then for my hair, when I went into the hairdresser recently, I asked my hairdresser to take a bit more of my fringe further back, so I have a slightly bigger parting of fringe, so that when I wear my hair up, which I often do, I have a lot more hair to play with that's down. So I like to wear my hair up in a half pony, but quite often when I do that, I get left with kind of what looks like receding hairline at the side. So it looks like, oh, it's a bit knotty. It looks like I'm going slightly bald here. So I asked her, because there was only that much down of my fringe, if that makes sense. So if I just had that much down, then it looks like I'm slightly receding there. So I asked her to go further back with my fringe, so it actually looks like I have a lot more hair coming down, if that makes sense. And then I just curl these bits so they look a little bit nicer. And that is how, and I just put it in a ponytail. And then it's kind of out of my way, but still shows that I've got long hair and that it is a style, if that makes sense. So I'll just take the odd little section and give it a little curl. And it falls nicer onto my face as well. Like the back bit still has a bit of curl from when I first did it, but these bits just need a tiny bit more help. So I just curl these. You can curl one of these if you want as well, just so you get a nice curl at the front. I always put my hair up first so I'm not wasting time. I only curl the bits that will be seen. Because I've already curled it once when I first washed it. I give it a good curl. that was the finished look. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys, and I'll see you soon.